All right, so this is another video about my album. This album is called Nashville Millennium. Recorded, written, produced, all that stuff by me, Sydney Stevens. This one just came out just the other day, actually. So, yeah, I'm gonna go through the songs on this album and do a little explanations on them, if I can. So my mom's calling. Decline. Sorry, I'll call her back. This takes about an hour, I think. I'll start out with this song. This is the first song on the album. This is what the album looks like. That's the cover. There is no text on it. On the front, on the cover anyway. That was basically inspired by my oldest kid, Jay, who explained to me that, like, okay, this album's gonna exist on the internet, so anytime you see the album cover, your name and album name is gonna be right next to it in text. Anywhere on the internet, my name and text and the album cover is gonna be right next to it. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. No reason to put my name on the cover, or even the name of it, of the album. So that's that. The second thing about this album, which is interesting, the logo itself is a strange little design that just happened because I drew dots, connected the dots of different towns that I lived in, where I played music after I started learning guitar. The only one that's not on this, which is kind of ridiculous, is Tempe, Arizona, which would be way down here somewhere if there was the dot for that. And it would have changed it. And I don't know why I didn't include Tempe, Arizona. That's actually where I learned to play guitar. I just didn't perform for anybody. So basically these dots are any town that I performed music, which is very small, obviously. It's only, there's Santa Fe, New Mexico at the top, Roswell, New Mexico, Lubbock, Texas is this little juncture, Austin, Texas, down here at the bottom, all the way over to Nashville, Tennessee. So, hopefully that makes sense. That's what made the logo, and I just went with that. Figured that's it. It's called Nashville Millennium because it's everything that led up to being in Nashville and recording music, pretty much up to the point of this album. There's nothing on this album that has been written after I came back from Nashville. I don't think. That may be wrong. We'll see. Anyway, so the first song is called Why Did She Cry? This song, written about a girl that I took to a prom back in, I don't even know the year, 1988, I would guess. The whole thing is, it's really just a confusing thing. Basically, I'm being haunted in real life to this day because I don't know why this girl cried. We were hanging out in a hotel room, smooching a little bit, this sounds crazy, but I didn't think I was going too far with anything. And she just started crying, and I don't understand why. And so I quit smooching, and we went outside. We sat out in the hallway there, and we talked for hours. Then we went outside, and it was under the moonlight on a little river and everywhere, and we talked for hours there. And then finally she was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. So I took her home. And then the weirdest thing, when I took her home, she just opened the door and made a beeline for her house. And she didn't say, I don't remember her saying goodbye. She just got out and left, like almost like she was a hostage the whole time. which I never was that. And hopefully I don't understand. That's the whole point of the song. I don't understand. To this day, I don't understand. And I've talked about this with other people. And they said odds are that she may not even really understand. But if I ever see her again, well, now I've got a song written about the whole situation. And it explains a lot of it. Maybe not 100% of the story. It's definitely probably not her version of the story. But I never got to hear her version of the story. So I don't know. It's still a mystery. Why did she cry? It may be not the greatest song. It sounds a little, honestly, it sounds a little Me Too, I'll admit. But I was young, and she was young, and there was nothing illegal about any of it. I can tell you that. Nothing super bad happened. But I don't know. I just don't know. The only thing, I don't know, I'm not even going to speculate any more than that. I'm going to leave it there. I have so many questions still, and I always will. So the next song is called Valley of the Fools. Let me find that. That one was Why Did She Cry, obviously. The next one is Valley of the Fools, which is a song written about, is actually inspired by a friend of mine who liked to party. It's also inspired by myself because I like to party, and it was causing problems. And one of the places we go when we like to party, even when there is no party, there's always a party, at a bar. So Valley of the Fools is basically going to the bar to forget your troubles, to tell stories with all the other guys that are drinking there or girls that are drinking. It's a whole scene with a bar that there's a different level that some people go to, and it's beyond a little bit just socializing and having a good time. It's almost like it's very sad, actually. So that's why I call it the Valley of the Fools. It's just. I think that's it. The next song is. Let me go to it here. By the way, these are the actual tracks that are recorded. If I want to isolate something. Oh, something I'm not talking about is the instruments on these. This instrument is that same guitar that was given to me by a friend whose the story of the guitar goes that the guy had lost his fingers in some kind of accident, and he didn't have any reason to have that guitar anymore, so he gave it to my friend. My friend let me borrow it, and I just never really returned it after all these years. So it's mine, right? It is a Hohner Les Paul style. I think it's one of those that they call a lawsuit guitar, because there was a certain, I think in the 70s and 80s, there was some kind of thing where these other companies started copying Les Paul, actual Gibson and Epiphone Les Pauls that have on the top of the neck of the guitar. I don't have a guitar with me, how funny. The top of the neck, it kind of looks like a book, like pages of a book sitting on top of it. And that's how you recognize it. They were called lawsuit guitars because it resembled the actual Les Paul too much, even though it wasn't a Les Paul. So this guitar is actually one of those. I just found that out recently. If I can isolate the track, this is actually the first, probably the first time I played this guitar, really, because I was a little superstitious of it because of the backstory with the guy losing his fingers. It's sad, and it was like, yeah, I'm not sure I want to play this guitar. And the first time I picked this guitar up, the strings are dead. It is buzzy, it's dusty, dirty. You know, I've done nothing to it but I pull it out and then I play this. I just play this riff. Really simple riff, but it's such a cool little sound that I wrote this song based on that, just based off of the riff. This is the original recording also. On this album, one of the weirdest things I did, specifically for this album, is that I used original tracks that have been recorded up to like 25 years ago. And I tried to keep as many original tracks as I could on each one. That track is probably 15 years old when I did that actual track. And I just finished this last month. So yeah, it's kind of interesting when you think about that. There's a lot that went into this album in particular for that reason. It's just Nashville Millennium. It's not just about the music that led me to Nashville or that I wrote in Nashville or recorded in Nashville. It's also a lot of the original tracks of demos and cassettes and goofing around all the years that got me there too. So this, in a way, this album is kind of a concept album. So the next one is called Just Drive Away. And this one was tough to record. This has the original vocals from 15, 16 years ago when I was in Nashville on totally different computer system and everything. And so I was in my 30s or something. So my vocals are different. That's one of the things on this album too. You can tell if you listen, if you really dig in, you can hear the age in my voice on some songs and the youth in my voice also in other songs. Just on the vocal tracks. And some of these are the original original guitar tracks also, or backup vocals, or just whatever I could keep. This song individually, this one, I recorded this in my studio in Nashville, living upstairs from Andy Logan. And I used the Takamine guitar on there, and it was plugged in direct. And one of the things Andy Logan is all about is like analog quality sound, like really high quality sound. And he's like, this is a really good song, vocals are good, everything's tight on it. But he's like, but that guitar, man, it's just too electric, it's too tinny. He's like, you need to mic your guitars. So over the next 18 years or whatever it was, I've been screwing with this song, trying to get a good guitar sound out of it. I wound up, this is before I bought a higher quality guitar. So this is just a Fender acoustic, not even an electric acoustic, just a straight up Fender acoustic that has a mic in it. And I think I used a pickup, the Dean Markley pickup, just to get a little cleaner signal, which is still electric. So Andy's probably not crazy about that. But I did the best I could to mic this guitar. And I did it, I think I redid all these guitars. So I got rid of the first guitar tracks that were a Takamine, which is also a great guitar. But I put the Fender, I put really bright strings, white bronze strings on that acoustic Fender guitar that is actually Teresa's guitar, my wife's guitar, that I bought for her in Knoxville because she wanted to learn to play guitar. And she never did, so now I have her guitar. But it's still her guitar. But I record with it. It's actually a nice sounding Fender acoustic. What else? I think some of the original tracks are the Telecaster with the distortion on it. The vocals are original. But I think all the acoustics have been re-recorded since the original tracks. It doesn't really matter. I also added drums to this, which is just background thumps, kind of weird. The song itself, the words are kind of autobiographical because it comes from a place, even though it's about a girl in the song, it comes from a place of just like if you don't like where you are, just leave. Just drive away. Find a new life. But as the last verse will tell you, that if you weren't happy in the first place you were, you're probably not going to be happy in where you went. So it's really not a whatever. It's not geographical. If you don't like where you're at, running away from your problems probably isn't the best idea. But it's based on when I was younger, my high school years. I drove around a lot. I was just from one town to the other, back to the same towns over and over and over, just running, trying to figure out my life, you know. Not even out of high school. I dropped out of high school and was doing that. There's a lot of reasons for that I'm not going to get into. The next song is called Short Time Gone. So this one was written in Nashville. One of the coolest parts about this is the there it is. I'll isolate that. One of the coolest things I like about this is the intro and the outro to the song. You'll hear like a radio announcer in it, and this is cool. So I have these when my grandparents died, or moved out. When my grandpa died, I think my grandmother moved into an old folks home in Lubbock, Texas, around 1980. Maybe it was after that, whatever. When they moved out of the house, grandparents moved out of the house, you know, everybody is going through and dividing up their stuff. Very sad. But I went and snagged records. Anything that was vinyl or albums or anything. I still have all of them. And most of it, my grandmother's collection of polka music, which was really big. Back in her time, it was the pop music of the time. And it's polka, 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 and it's the same song on every album. And I think I have 25 albums of different polka albums, which is great. And I've only listened to maybe a few of them because it's like, wow, this really is like the same song. This is maybe my last Topo Chico, by the way. I love Topo Chico, especially with salt and lime in it. Like, it needs more salt, but I can't find any more. That's my last bottle in my fridge. So that sucks. But anyway, in this pile of records, there were some old, quite a few actually. They were 78 speed records. A lot of them were shellac, which is almost like a ceramic, and they're all broken because they're so fragile. And over the years, if they weren't broken to start with, over all the years of moving around and everything, boxes just getting thrown in trucks. I've moved 100 times. They just got broken. Some of them are very interesting. Some of them are, what is it called? It's not shellac. It's not vinyl. There's another one. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, these were records, and they're labeled. And I need to get it out, and I need to take a picture of it because it's in a box in the house. But it is my Uncle Bob from 1948, I think. I need to remember that. I need to actually verify that. I think it was from 48. But it's some records that obviously he worked in the radio business in West Texas, around Lubbock, different areas, and actually even started. He's on a Wikipedia if you want to look it up. Look up Bob Stevens, and it'll have. I can't remember the details because I have a lousy memory. But he's got a wiki page. It talks about Bob my Uncle Bob and also about my dad, and they started a radio station in West Texas at some time. So, Bob Stevens. And he was also the, later in life, he did the farm report in Lubbock for years on, I believe it was KFYO radio station. And then he was also on, I think it was KCBD. He was the TV weatherman for probably 20 years or something. So Uncle Bob was kind of a big deal in Lubbock, Texas during the 70s and 80s. And so that was kind of cool. And he was an interesting guy. I could tell you a lot of stories about Uncle Bob. Not always wonderful stories, but he was a very colorful guy. But anyway, so he and one of his partners or something, I think, came up and got a actual record maker. So I've got these recordings, you know, like I did when I was a kid with cassette tapes and just goofing around in a microphone, you know, like, hey, you know, just making up stupid stories and things like that. I wish I had those. I don't have those. But I have my Uncle Bob from 1948 doing that. Goofing around singing and telling jokes. Nothing that would be good today, but yeah, they're just silly jokes, actually. They weren't that bad. And then I've got him doing this, which was, he was doing what they call an air check back in the day. This would have been one of the first ones you could do, where you could actually record yourself on something and then have that as a reference to what you sound like on the radio to go get a job or whatever you wanted to do. So this is an air check record, not a shellac, but kind of like that. 78 speed that I recorded and digitized all these albums. Very scratchy, very poppy, but I cleaned it up the best I could. Let me play it again. It's music out of the blue from us to you. So that's my Uncle Bob in 1948 saying that. And then at the end, I took another record of him doing a weather report, news report. So at the end of the song,
hurricane was staggered with a multi-million-dollar blow tonight, winds of 50 miles an hour or better, and beating the pine flats with a driving rain. Hurricanes was reported, and most devastating blows severed Florida.
It's very scratchy. But mixed in with the music, it's kind of cool. It's just down in there, in the background. Anyway, that was fun. And it's kind of cool that I could put my Uncle Bob on a record. He's been gone many, many years. He died a long time ago. Yeah, so that's this song. Also, the song is about a very weird feeling I had. I wrote this, I'm a little confused actually on when I wrote it. It was, see, I don't really remember it. I'm mixing my memories up. But the basic vibe and the feel of it when I wrote it was strange because I was suddenly left alone, like in a hotel, because I didn't have anywhere to live really, so I was just kind of living in a hotel. I remember living in a hotel. It also might have been, see, I don't know, I get confused on it. Because I have, in my memory, I have a certain hotel room, but it doesn't add up because it seems like it was the hotel room where I first was the first night I was in Nashville, and I was pretty much broke. Oh, I was broke. I wasn't pretty much. I spent my last few dollars on a 6-pack of beer and Taco Bell, and then I was sitting in this hotel room and thinking like, well, I might as well. I only got one night in the hotel, and then I'm homeless because I have no money, and I only could rent one night, and I have no job. I have nothing. So it took a lot more money than I thought it would to get to Nashville, and I was broke when I got there. So I was just like, well, this sucks. And so I got my guitar, went next door to the Broken Spoke Hotel. I wasn't staying there. I was staying next door, the one that was surrounded by a chain link fence and had a lot of drug deals going on and all that stuff. Anyway, wound up playing guitar, met a waitress that night whose boyfriend was looking for a roommate, and the next day I was saved. So that's the origin story of going to Nashville. That's how it started. So yeah, it got better, I guess. But yeah, so for some reason in my head, I keep thinking it's that room 179. It says it in there because it was on the first floor, and I just felt so empty and kind of sad that my girlfriend was going to college and I was just on my own again, like really alone. And it was just weird. That's the whole, yeah, it's a long time coming, short time gone. She was barely gone and it just sunk in, and I wrote this song that night. The next one is called One More for the Woman. I kept this really simple recording. The Short Time Gone recording is very complicated. There's a lot of synthesizer and underground stuff, and then I just ripped into the Telecaster. I put some big fat strings on the Telly called boomers, and they're gonna stay on it forever now because those strings are awesome. I love the way that guitar sounded in that song, and I'm just doing. I like the lead in that a lot. So yeah, so One More for the Woman I wrote also about the same girl, same Teresa. This should have probably been on the Origins album, because this song goes back to the days in Santa Fe with the band called Steven Seal, with me and Mark Johnson and David Edwards on drums, Mark singing backup and playing acoustic or playing guitar. So we had two guitars and a drummer. That's it. That was the band. Yeah. So One More for the Woman was written in Santa Fe because Teresa was like, my songwriting kept bringing up all this sad crap, it was like kind of repetitive, and she's like, you got to write something with a happy ending, or at least not talking about leaving all the time or something. So that was the inspiration for One More for the Woman. The chorus is when the spring comes, I'll be here waiting on you. That was because she was coming. I was waiting for spring break, and she was actually at Texas A&M University. I was in Santa Fe with the bands, and I was just kind of waiting for her to get back to come visit on spring break. Lyrically, there's probably more to that song than I'm remembering, but that's just the basics of it. Let me play it. As you can tell here, it's only there's a bass, the vocals, and one guitar. Same guitar, it's 2 tracks. That's it. That's the whole thing. The vocals are really distorted on it because I was too close to the mic, so it recorded really hot. Which I'm not crazy about, but I'm like, well, there's a lot I'm not crazy about on this album as far as production. I wanted to get it done, and out of money, and I'm out of my equipment is getting old, and it's getting harder to record, especially to the quality that I think I should be recording, and I'm just not there, and it's frustrating. So this album was kind of just like just let it go. I'm like, there's things I'm not crazy about. I did something really stupid on this album, which was I didn't have it mastered because that's expensive. It's like $60 a song. I don't have that. 60 times 14, that's a lot of money. So I don't have the opportunity to do that. So I mastered it myself with, I got a new upgraded software program that only because I needed to have more tools that weren't available on my older software. And then, which is all fine. It actually came out okay. I'm cool with all that. It's just when I mixed the final, the first song, the Why Did She Cry, is actually mixed volumes too low on the internet version of it. So like, okay, I don't like that. So I remixed it for the CD. And then when I remixed it for the CD, there's way too much bass. So the first track on the CD is just like a speaker explode. It's gonna blow speakers. So I'm so upset. I've already lost the money on it. Nothing I can really do about it now other than redo the whole thing, which is another, $300 that I don't have. But I'm like, you know what? It's just I'm gonna treat it like a demo CD. So I don't really, nothing I can do about it. It's upsetting, frustrating. This song is called Love Like This. This is written for my friend Mark and his wife at the time, Katrina, when they were getting married. I wrote this for them as a wedding song. And I performed it at their wedding. I think it's a little too weird. Just acoustically playing that. I don't think it really went over all that well. It was really difficult to record it because it's a weird beat. It's kind of a drag beat on a waltz 3/4 time. The reason I put the keyboard in the front of it, this little guy, and if you'll see, I can isolate it. It actually runs through there. The guitar comes in there, right there. I keep this little keyboard back in there because it kind of just kept me in the pocket. When I originally recorded this in the upstairs apartment in Nashville, where I wrote it and then put it down, and then recorded it after their wedding. Their wedding was in Santa Fe. We all went back to Santa Fe, had the wedding. I played the song. It was all a good time. A few years later, they got divorced. Didn't quite work out. I don't know if it's the song's fault. I wrote that on the liner notes. Maybe it's... I'll know if somebody else uses this, like if other people use this for a wedding song, and their wedding doesn't last, then we can blame the song. Yeah, okay. But anyway, I had this little cheesy little keyboard in Nashville, and I originally recorded the song like with a track a lot like this. I don't have that keyboard anymore. But I was out here in the studio struggling with this song, trying to get it to where I wanted it, and I couldn't. I just kept doing it over and over. And then finally I went into the house and got my kid's keyboard that I gave to him a long time ago. Because I'm thinking it's going to have some kind of little waltz, cheesy little play-along waltz track. And sure enough, it does. And it's not through the whole song. Oh shit, yeah it is. It is. It's through the whole song. Anyway, the volume goes up and down in it. I didn't even realize that. That's funny. So yeah, that little track's in there in the background of all this stuff. This is also that acoustic guitar, the classical nylon string guitar that I bought for $50. The other part of the story with this song is the chorus. The verses are just kind of cheesy love song stuff, without any real personal meaning, just kind of generic. The chorus, though, is I dreamt your dancing silhouette in a desert mountain red sunset. I just imagined Katrina, she's a professional ballet dancer, and I just imagined her in Santa Fe behind a red sunset. So that's why the chorus is that. I don't even know if she knows that. Maybe she'll see this. Anyway, that was for you, Katrina, if you see this. So the next song, oh boy, what a horrible transition we're gonna get. The next song is called Mystery. Also very simple tracks. This I actually recorded when I moved back from Nashville, when I moved from Nashville in 2005 back to Austin, outside of Austin. I didn't have a recording studio, we just had a little sunroom out there, and I set up all my stuff and recorded a few little things. I've got some tracks, even some other ones that aren't on here, because I was still very much into music at that time, into writing and recording, even though I lost my studio, I had a great studio in Nashville that I built out of an old garage. We remodeled part of the garage that was out there that was probably built in the 50s and turned it into a recording studio. It was very cool. But moving here back to Texas, no studio, no garage, no storage, nothing. So that was, I was still continuing to do music in the little sunroom. Turns out the sunroom in Austin turns into a oven in the summer. Really spring, it started getting so hot out there that it was just miserable and too difficult to keep recording. I was worried about my computer melting, basically. So I brought all my, I put all my stuff in the house because I didn't want it to get damaged. It's just way too hot in that room. So no studio for many, many years. It wasn't until 2007 that I built a shed in the yard, basically, and turned it into a studio. Did all the wiring and everything, and built another recording studio out of a tough shed, which is where we're sitting right now. And then this is a tough little room to record in. It was difficult, and I got pretty depressed after we moved here, and I started drinking a lot, and I pretty much, after these recordings in the sunroom, I had quit doing music kind of altogether. I didn't even play much. Got into a real dark place, I guess, for about the next 15 years. A good 10 years anyway, that I was pretty bad off. And then the death of a couple of people kind of made me snap back into reality and made me realize I was going to wind up exactly the same way. Hey! Okay, I was wondering what happened. Sorry. The video started anew. I have to edit this now. It starts another video. That's funny. I didn't know it did that. Did it on the last video I made. I'm not editing this. This is the whole thing. I'm doing it straight through. Anyway, so this song called Mystery, I was, speaking of drinking, I recorded this in Austin, but I wrote this in Nashville. I went to a bar, this is before I was married and everything, in Nashville. And much like the song on the previous album where I met a girl, a waitress or something, and just fell in love with them, instantly. And except this time it was a girl who was taking money at the door at the Broken Spoke Dance Hall, and I was hammered. I had lots of drink that night, and I went in there. She was so cute, and I just fell in love with her right away. And I asked her what her name was, and she said her name was Lucky. Obviously, that was a nickname. And then in my mumbled, inebriated state, I was like, I'm the lucky one, or some stupid pickup kind of, like, I don't even know, way out of character for me to do something like that. And she took my money, put it in the and then I looked and I turned around and she was gone. She was like, nope. So my drunken pickup line didn't work there, and but it inspired me to write the song about her. Her name was Lucky, and it's in the song. It doesn't. I don't say it's her name, but I say yeah. She's got a name reserved for the Lucky, which kind of means like someday she's gonna get married to someone or something. I don't know what it means. Whatever. But it's a nice little finger picking song. It's another one of those original guitar tracks. Takamine plugged direct, no mic on it. Andy Logan would not approve of this. But I like the way it came out, and I'm just like, I can't change it. It's also the original vocal from back then. The only thing I added to it was a bass and some cymbal. No, not even that. I just added bass to it from that track from 15 years ago. Other than that, it's all the same original stuff. And then I mastered it, of course, on my own. But yeah, I was kind of in a good zone there when I first came back. I think my vocals were really strong. Okay, the next one is Love Like a Light. Oh, crap. Oh, how funny. This one is not even... It's playing too fast. Ah! Okay, wait. Wait. Undo. Okay, so let me pause that. Love Like a Light is, I only have it as an MP3 here. This is why, sorry, I was getting freaked out there. The reason I only have it as an MP3 is because I've lost all the individual tracks. I recorded this whole thing. One of the first things I ever did when I got a computer with Acid Pro recording software, multi-track recording. And I recorded this song with that. I wonder if it'll let me play it somewhere. Play. Let's see if it does it. I think maybe I just made my computer mad. But yeah, I did a lot of production with this. There it comes. It's just an MP3. That's all I have of this song. That's the nylon string guitar I bought for $50 in Nashville. It's loops, acid loops is what the drum is. It's not me playing that. Somebody played it, but I didn't. I can't be the man she wants. The song goes way back. This also probably should have been on the Origins album, because this goes back to around the time that the band in Santa Fe was recording on that trip to Knoxville, Tennessee. And there's 2 songs from that time on here. But the liner notes on this on the album are actually talk about how Gordon Lightfoot has a song that he doesn't like, which is, what's the name of the song? For Loving Me was his song, and in a documentary I just watched a while back, said he was not proud of writing that song because he was married, and it's kind of it's not a good song when you're married. And I kind of feel like this about this song about a girlfriend, which was Teresa, the same girl that I always had, or had me, I should say, where I wasn't really committed to being in a full relationship with her all the time. That's kind of what this is about, where you can't just turn off love, or turn it on, or turn it off, just like a light. So it's called Love Like a Light. Anyway, I put it on the album. It's a good song. It's and the production of it I really like. It's also got some interesting stuff in the background in the production, where I added some kind of there's some ambient, breathy kind of things, and I got that from the idea from that from watching the movies The Sixth Sense, where I watched the extras on the DVD, and they talk about some of the audio production stuff they did to kind of give you an eerie feeling watching that movie during certain scenes. So I just did that on this song. Anyway, that's goofy. Yeah, there's more to that. I'm not going to get into too much more of it. The next one is called Sunrise in California, which also is only an MP3 that I had. I do not have the original tracks for that. The reason I have so many in here is because I added. Whoop, that's not what I want. I added the original track is corrupt. So there's these pops and clicks in there that there's. What was that noise? There's pops and clicks in it that I can't get rid of. So I had to really go through and try to get it cleaned up the best I could. Also, what else is there? There's something to it. Oh, I did add drums. It's not in this track though. Where is it? Oh man, this is complicated. Well, that's the only one I have. Where's all my tracks? Oh, they're in here. Jeez. Okay, sorry. So I don't remember everything I did. So I added, to try to cover up some of the imperfections in the corrupt file, I added, and also the beat, the rhythm, the beat was off at the end of it. This is me and my friend Lee Cato in Nashville. He's playing lead guitar on it and he's singing the backup vocals. At the end he goes, yo, oh, and he laughs, and I had to leave that in because I think it's hilarious. But he's playing all the lead guitar stuff in there. I think this was actually recorded on his. He had like some kind of a digital RP. No, I don't remember what it was. He had some kind of digital recorder, and I think he actually recorded this. And then I just had the file, and then I built on it, put loops in it. Maybe that's not this song. Actually, no, that's not this song. This song I recorded with the new computer system and all that in Nashville. It's loop drums and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, it was all right, but I added a lot to it. I brought it back into this studio. I added drums to it, which are like, let me play it. I added these drums. Wait, right here. Oh wait, those are claps, sorry. I added claps. I added a bass. There's a snare in there I added. Some doom 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 doom. Some rolls. Cymbals. More cymbals. So these are the things I added on top of it. I added another bass line. All this just to kind of cover up the scratchy, corrupt digital file. So anyway, it wasn't easy. I also, when I originally recorded it, I recorded the main vocal panned left and right, which was really weird and really spread out. It's like the vocals, it didn't sound right. So I also took the whole track, I EQ'd it really high, and then I turned it to mono to try to center out as much as I could of that vocal. But even then, there's still I don't know which one. One of these is a mono track. I was just trying to isolate it and try to bring it back in. It's more centered instead of left speaker, right speaker. Complicated. That one got complicated. But I like how it came out. My friend Leroy is on another song on here. This next song is called Dreaming of Carrie. Also during the studio up there at Nashville, living upstairs from Andy's. And I'm not sure. I guess this was an MP3 also. I don't have the individual tracks out of it. I can't separate it out anymore. It's just one track. That's all I got. It's all loops. The drums are built, hand-built loops. Just cymbals, drums, drum tracks. Yeah, it's just, it's hard to explain. The song itself is based on when me and my brother were young. I was probably about 8, maybe 7. He's 4 years older than me. And on the weekends and stuff, we would hang out and have a sleepover in our own house because we lived out in the country and our friends, we didn't have friends or they were far away. So sometimes we have sleepovers in each other's rooms. It was fun. Brothers, we're having fun. And one of the things we did was have these imagination games where we basically it was like just making up stories of our lives when we were grown up. And basically all we did is party and drive trucks and drink a lot. But we did have relationships. We weren't married in our imagination stories, but we did have very serious girlfriends. And my girlfriend's name was Julie, and my brother's girlfriend's name was Carrie. But when I wrote this song, I had to change the names. We had to switch girlfriends in the stories because my brother in real life married a girl named Julie. I did not marry a girl named Carrie. I married Teresa. But I didn't want to write a song called Dreamin' of Julie because that's kind of creepy. So I changed it to Dreamin' of Carrie, which was my brother's imagination girlfriend. I don't know why, but that story bothers me. I don't like telling it. I don't really, I don't know why. Anyway, the next one is called Try Me If You Dare. Also recorded in the Nashville studio. The studio was called, it was named by my friend Al. He called it Dog Hell. It was Dog Hell Studio because I had a dog, and my dog, Patsy Claudette was her name. And she had puppies because she was taken advantage of in the front yard one morning when I had her on a leash. And I tied her on the leash in the front, and this dog came over and knocked her up. So I had these puppies all over this damn house, and they were smelly, and it was gross. So my friend Al named it Dog Hell, and that became the name of the recording studio, Dog Hell Studios. Even though it wasn't, it's just whatever. It's the nickname for my computer. But, yeah, and we were trying to think. I even asked my friend Al if he was playing bass on this, because it sounds like he might be playing bass on it, but neither of us can actually remember if he's on this track or not. I gave him credit for it anyway, because even if he's not, he was still around, and he was a really big influence on me with music. So much so that we recorded an album called Want Too Much under the band name The LGs. You know, look that up. It's a good album with me and Al. His songs are great. He's great. Al's great, man. Great vocals, grooving guitars, bass. Yeah, it's fun. I really enjoyed recording with Al. So this was around that time that I was just trying to learn my recording equipment. Loop drums again. I think everything else is pretty real. The guitars are real. The keyboard, that's me on keyboards. If anybody's playing anything, Al's on bass. The song is, I don't know. I didn't want to do this song because it's actually, James Brown has a song called Try Me, and I didn't want to do it because of that. But it's a different song, I think. I don't even know. Anyway, I figure it's not really a hit, but it's kind of a grooving little song, and it was part of the Nashville Millennium, so that was cool. The next one is called French Fry Kids. French Fry Kids was a song that came from, wow, why are there so many tracks? A song that came from that trip from, this also should have been on the Origins album, the last album. This was while we were recording in Knoxville, Tennessee with Stevens and Steel Band, which was me and Mark Johnson and David Edwards. But David already had 2 boys, and then his 3rd child was being born while we were in Knoxville at the recording studio on the trip. So his wife is having a child in Santa Fe, and he's not there, and he was feeling pretty sad about that. So I was like, okay, and he was missing his kids and his family a lot. So I was like, all right, so let's write a song about your kids and your family and whatever. And I was like, what do you like? What do your kids like? What's the inspiration for this song? And he's like, my kids love French fries. And then he's like, actually every kid loves French fries. And I'm like, it's okay, we're going with it. So we wrote this little thing, like a kid's song kind of thing called French Fry Kids. Me and David wrote it together. Everybody else there was helped in one way or the other. I don't really know how to put everybody on this as a songwriter, so I just left me and Dave as the main songwriters, though everybody was there, and really everybody kind of had input on it. Teresa, Mark, which actually I think Mark is playing guitar in the background on this recording. And then there's some secrets to this too, but yeah, then also Jamie was there, and Shelly was there on that trip. So 6 of us. So this song, I borrowed a cajon, which is one of those square wooden drums you sit on and you pop, and it's got like a thing, you beat on it. I can isolate it. I borrowed that from a friend out here named Kelly Casey. Where is it? There it is. So this is the drum beat. It's just a cajon. I'm sitting on it, just jamming. There's actually 2. There's stereo. There's more secrets to it. Another secret is that the tune is actually Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or ABCs. Totally ripped that off. The original recording is just, and I've EQ'd it out, took the bass out of it. It's a cassette tape recording, and I had to chop it up a little bit because the timing was off, the rhythm was off. It's actually 2 separate takes on a cassette player, cassette deck. Just me and Mark and Dave push play, 2 takes into this cassette deck, and that was it. So everything off of this is built off of that. This is the other one, the second take. They almost line up perfectly. I had to chop it up a little bit to get them to synchronize. You can hear somebody singing backups up there. I don't know who that was. It's a muddy, wavy recording because it's just an old cassette. And that's it. So but the other part, beautiful. because it was so muddy, you couldn't hear his vocals in it. So I had to do this.
One of my kids can't count to 10. He's been
I did not want to have to put my vocals over the top of this, but it's the only way you can really understand the words because the recording is so bad. The other thing is I threw in some more rhythm guitars to make it a bigger sound. And the real big cheat was, and I don't even know if David knows this, but there's a lot of hooping and hollering and stuff going on in the background. Well, when we did the cassette tape recording, there wasn't that many of us in the room. So I made it bigger, like clapping, and talking, and making noise. Just making it background noise. How many tracks? I tried to sound like different people. This is horrible, by the way. Okay. A lot of hooping and hollering. It's just me alone in my studio. How sad is that? I'm just having a party. I'm trying to sound like Dave, I think, there. And then not there. Yeah, so I added all that. It makes it sound like a big old party. Whole bunch of people there. Really wasn't. Sorry. That's fake, guys. But this is great. Oh wait, that's not what I want. Wait. This is my favorite with David. Oh, that's not it.
Rolling sound.
Now,
speed.
that's David. Okay, so there's that one. The other one is... hang on, sorry. Super loud. I think the end of us talking, I think it's funny.
That was beautiful.
And all that hiss is just cassette tape. Just cassette hissing. It's bad. Alright, the next one is Space Dance. I don't know if this is, I don't think I added anything to this either. Nope, it's just the MP3. Let me hit play again. This was, believe it or not, this is upstairs at Andy's house again in Nashville. I rented the upstairs. No heat, no air conditioning, but it was $150 a month, so that was the first time and only time pretty much in my life that I could afford rent and I could afford some bills. I was paying bills. I had cable. I split the cable. But yeah, I really enjoyed living there by myself. The whole place to myself, 2 bedrooms, a little living room, even though the house was built in like 1911, very old house, and very much falling apart. The house actually caught on fire 2 weeks after I moved out. The upstairs where I lived, the electric was bad up there. I actually plugged in my new computer when I first got my computer. I plugged it into the wall and it exploded the fuse. And it fried my computer. I had to reformat my computer brand new out of the box. Completely reformatted it. I think I had to do that twice because the electricity was bad. That was great. So yeah, that place was awesome though. And then a little extra money here and there. I bought that classical guitar for $50. I bought a keyboard, this keyboard, which I wound up giving to Andy's daughter. Emily had it. I'm like, oh, it's your birthday! And I went upstairs and came back down with a keyboard. And then my dog jumped on her and knocked her tooth out. It's great. So yeah, but I bought a 4-track cassette also, and I was just goofing with that before I had my computer. This inspired me to get a computer with recording software. It was all new, pretty much, at least new to the public. Pro Tools was kind of big for the studios and stuff, but thousands of dollars for that kind of stuff. This computer software was affordable. I think it was like $300 at the time. I bought a sound card that was, I think it was about almost a $600 sound card. It's this one. I still have it. I still use it. It's a badass sound card, which enables me to do multi-track also. A few of them, not a big one, but a few. So 4 inputs, so I can go 4 tracks in. Left, right, left, right. But yeah, this, also on cassette, you can hear it at the end of it. It's really warbly and messed up because it's a cassette, and I use the same tape to record on over and over and over. So yeah, it got pretty bad. But this is just me goofing around on a 4-track with a keyboard. The drums on it are actually the keyboard itself with the little Yamaha keyboard. I'm playing keyboards on it with a solo, no bass on it, and then I'm just playing my Telecaster for lead guitar, which is kind of cool because this is the first time I actually ever pulled out a lead. And there's some mistakes in it because there was no punching in, there's no multi-tracking, there's no cut and paste, there's none of that. You're on an analog tape, so you got to hit it. You got to do the track. You got to do the take in one shot. So that's what's kind of cool about that. It was all one take, actual, real analog recording. Even though it was on a cheesy 4-track, it still was actual analog recording. The next thing is the last one, which is Alfalfa Hey, which is only, it was recorded in the sunroom also when I moved back to Austin, outside of Austin. It is my little kid. It's Baby J. And oh man, what am I doing? Hang on, I gotta get what's the name of it? It is Alfalfa A. A. It's under A. This is also 1 track. As you can see, it's just me. You know what? It used to be multi-track because Jay's in there twice. There's two vocals. Jay's doing his own double vocal. Actually, that's all it is Jay doing a double vocal. I'm in there once at the end of it, and I correct Jay because how many feet horses have. So the horses don't even really have feet, they have hoofs. But it's too cute, and I wanted to put my kid on my album. My next album, maybe I'll put Cody on there. But this is just me goofing around in the sunroom with a microphone. You can hear Jay actually thumping on the mic, boom, 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 at one point. And I'm always like, don't touch the mic, you know? And yeah, so this song, my brother used to torture me with this song on road trips. I think he learned it at a summer camp or a church camp or something. And stuck in my head. I taught it to my kid, and now Baby J sings it for all eternity. And it goes on forever, by the way. I didn't edit it, I didn't shorten it, because I'm like, nope, I'm doing the whole song. It's my album, it's my kid. I'll do what I want. And who knows, maybe somebody can use this as a background for something someday. Maybe in a movie. That's it, that's the whole album. Yeah, a little over an hour to talk about this. Not too bad. Hope you like the album. Sorry about the mix. I didn't get it mastered. I think someday maybe I can get something mastered if I can come up with the means to do it. For now, I'm just cranking out albums. This one is hopefully going to lead me up to the next album, which I think is going to be called Supersonic Rescue Pony. There's a whole story behind that, which is back to my childhood again. But I'm not going to talk about it too much. But hopefully my next album will have newer songs that I've written, because I'm still writing like crazy. I wrote a song this morning at 5 a.m. Woke up, this idea of a song in my head. So I'm writing like crazy. I hope my next album's gonna have some newer stuff on it. Origins album and Nashville Millennium, I'm trying to get to 2020. I think this was recorded in 2005 or 2006. So this is the most recent music I have, by the way. Recorded, except for the singles and stuff that are out there. I think I've got a few singles. Anyway, man, I appreciate everybody listening. I hope this was fun for you. I meant to do this with my last album when it came out 3 years ago, and just before I did this one right now, I did that one. So I've got 2 albums. You know what I should do? I should have put the album cover at the beginning of the video. Maybe I'll do that. Damn it, that means I gotta go delete it. No, I don't. I didn't upload it yet. See, this is what I do. This is how I waste my time in my studio. I've been out here for about 3 hours. But at least I got some stuff done. Alright, I gotta go. I'm not gonna edit this. I appreciate everybody tuning in to the YouTube, and the Pandora and the Spotify. If you want to buy a CD, I have Origins for sale. I have Nashville Millennium. You just got to watch out for the first track. That's going to blow your speakers because there's too much bass. But if you've got some nice kicking bass speakers, it's gonna thump. I tell you, it's kind of bluegrass, but it's gonna be thumping bluegrass in that first song. That's all. I'm trying to think of anything else I should say that's gonna last forever on this. But I can't. So, I'm out.